This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your NFL Week 13 betting preview. We're into December, which means the games are getting important, and we are getting to the critical part of the NFL season. Playoff chase is heating up in both the AFC and NFC. Let's break it all down game by game. Let's start with Denver Jacksonville, top of the rotation. Denver 3.5-point favorite. Money has come in on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this has now been a pattern the last few weeks. We have seen sharp money pour in on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's not like they're getting rewarded for it week in and week out. I mean, we're seeing a Jacksonville team that, they have lost each of their last 4 games by a touchdown or less. Very competitive, 2-2 against the spread in those games. But now we're in a price range here where Denver's laying 3.5 on the road. Jacksonville's got to come damn close to winning this game, if not win the game, to cover this number, and I'm not sure I trust them to do it. Now, granted, Denver's off that grueling overtime game at home Sunday night last week against Kansas City, 30-27, wild football game. No denying that. They're also a little bit banged up. Devontae Booker, running back, ankle injury, questionable. A.J. Derby, the tight end, questionable. Benny Fowler, wide receiver, questionable for this game. Trevor Siemian, sprained left foot, is doubtful for this game. And I know people are reacting to that Trevor Siemian not playing here, and it'll be Paxton Lynch, the rookie, instead at quarterback for the Denver Broncos. I understand that, but is there really a huge drop-off? I mean, Paxton Lynch, I know he's a rookie. Siemian at times has been hot and cold. I still don't know if I can get there with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just don't. And Blake Bortles will play in this game, but he's also banged up, dealing with a shoulder injury. And let's be honest, when the game has been close this season for Jacksonville, he's not made the play late in a close game, and I'm not sure I trust him to do it here. It's desperation time as well for Denver. Denver is not on the outside looking in right now in terms of the AFC playoff picture. Third place team in their own division right now. They know the sense of urgency has to be at a high level for the Broncos coming into this game. It could only look toward the Denver side, even without Siemian at quarterback. It's Broncos or pass for me in that game. Kansas City, Atlanta, tough spot for Kansas City. They were the victors in that aforementioned Sunday night overtime game against Denver on the road last week. Now you got to play on the road a second straight week against Falcons. And what does concern me for Kansas City is not just the spot playing the second straight game on the road off a thrilling game last weekend. That's not the only concern I have for them here. It's also that their secondary was a little bit, I don't want to say picked apart, but they gave up some big plays to Trevor Siemian last week. You think about the touchdown that Siemian had to Benny Fowler late in that football game last Sunday night that looked like it was going to give Denver a comfortable win, 24-16. It gave them the lead at that time, but Kansas City, made some mistakes in the secondary, and that's not a situation where you want to be weak in playing this Atlanta team. Matt Ryan and the passing offense last week against Arizona here inside the Dome in Atlanta did anything they pretty much wanted to do. Now, it's going to be tougher here against Kansas City, but Chiefs defense, especially against the pass, the way they played last week against the Broncos, does concern me a little bit here. And the spot's not great, as I said, for Atlanta. So 4.5 is the number. Kansas City's one of those underdogs that I like to bet against them as a favorite. Don't necessarily like to bet against them as an underdog, but this is still a tough spot. Atlanta's been pretty tough at home. I would lean Falcons here. Don't love it, but 4.5 point favorite, I'd lean to the Falcons. I actually think over the total might still be worth a look. I think Alex Smith and the Chiefs offense moved the ball well enough against Denver last week on the road. Great defense. Atlanta's defense, I'm still not 100% sold on them, and I do think Atlanta will be able to have some success moving the ball against Kansas City. So I'll lean to the Falcons and over the total in that game. Houston, Green Bay next up. Brock Osweiler just continues to be an unmitigated disaster, not even worth a tenth so far of the money he's being paid by the Houston Texans, just making bad decisions, not accurate, not reacting well in the pocket when it collapses around him. And Green Bay, they were looking like a free-falling team, but boy, they got a nice win against Philadelphia on Monday night on the road. They ran the football a little bit finally with James Starks. They're getting healthier on defense. They're getting healthier along the offensive line. Aaron Rodgers had a great day throwing the football. You wonder that win maybe sparks Green Bay a little bit. They know they can still win the division they're in, the NFC North. Lions aren't going to run away from anybody, even though they're 7-4 and leading the division. Minnesota, is in their own funk right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around. This division is still there for the taking. If Green Bay can get on a roll, get hot, now string some wins together down the stretch, they know that this is within reach for them. So I'd expect them to be fired up coming out for this one. I just don't trust Houston on the road either. You look at Houston's road performances, god awful. Lose to Oakland on the road, lose to New England, Minnesota, and Denver in blowout fashion on the road. I do not trust them going up to Lambeau here. Green Bay's not a team I'm comfortable with laying 6.5 with, but gun to the head, I'd probably have to lean to the Packers in that game. Philadelphia taking on Cincinnati. It's Philly or pass for me. I've talked about Cincinnati now multiple weeks. Another bad, pathetic loss last week against Baltimore. The effort was there, the execution wasn't. Andy Dalton, would it kill you to hang on to the damn football? I mean, all you have to do is put a pinky finger on this guy's arm and he's dropping the football and losing the ball and fumbling. Come on, redheaded stepchild, let's go. Get it together. You can't be that weak and that, fragile. And it seems like he gets a little hand on him and he's fumbling the football. That happened twice at least last week in the loss to the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, Andy Dalton's been very disappointing. The whole offense has not been the same, and of course they're banged up. No A.J. Green, Giovanni Bernard out as well. Not the same offense. They missed the play calling of Hugh Jackson big time, and a lot more than people think. And the result has been a Bengals team that just hasn't been able to get anything done really in terms of moving the football consistently. And the Eagles haven't been good on the road. They didn't play well Monday night at home against Green Bay. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games now after that hot start. Carson Wentz and the offense inconsistent. The defense looks like they're starting to run out of gas. They have not played as well as they did early in the season, but I still think the Eagles look in their locker room and say, we got hope at least to maybe still somehow battle back and get back in a playoff chase. I don't think I feel that same motivation for Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati knows after losing to Baltimore last week, they're done. I have bet against Cincinnati 2 weeks in a row, with Buffalo 2 weeks ago when they beat the Bengals, with Baltimore last week when they beat the Bengals, and I'd look toward the Eagles here. I really would. I know Philly's not playing great, but this Bengals team, they're either bet against or I leave the game alone. And now that Cincinnati's back to the favorite role, 1.5, 2 in this game, definitely more interested in Philadelphia plus the points in that one. Detroit, New Orleans, lots of money on New Orleans. 3.5 favorite they opened up. It's now up to 6, total of 53.5. And people are loving the way the Saints are playing. And the Saints are in a division that's wide open. Nobody's run away with the NFC South. They can actually still catch Atlanta if they really get on track. It's really Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans still alive in the NFC South division, but Saints playing good football. I know it was at home. I know it was against the LA Rams last week, but they're playing great offensively. But at the same time, Detroit is one of those teams, I don't want to lay points with Detroit. Detroit's in a close game every single week, it seems, this season. Every single Detroit Lions game all season long has come pretty much right down to the wire. It's not a team I'm looking to lay points with, but now you're getting 6 with Detroit here, now after the line move. Matt Stafford, all he does in a close game is make plays. And if this game is close late, Matthew Stafford has been making the plays in the passing game to Marvin Jones, and to the slew, Golden Tate, and the slew of Detroit receivers, and finding a way to win these close games. And they're a tough team to bet against in this price range. Laying 6 with Detroit, no, but catching 6 with Detroit, yeah, I'm getting more and more interested by the Lions. I respect the way the Saints have played, but Detroit's in nothing but close games, it seems. Their offense is certainly more. I know the Saints' defense has been a lot better this year than it was last year. They played better lately. But the Lions' offense, has that backdoor score potential. I think there was maybe some value with New Orleans at 3.5, but now it's 6. I'm looking more and more toward the Detroit Lions side, and that would be my lean in that game. It should be a game which has some points scored in it, but not a bargain totals-wise at 53.5. San Fran, Chicago, this is a pass for me. I'm just moving on to the next one. I have no clue if either team's going to show up. I will say this, though. Bears fought their tails off against the Titans last week. 49ers fought their tails off against the Dolphins last week, even though they both fell short. You're at least still seeing effort from these two teams, and I appreciate that about both of them for two teams that have won, a combined 3 games this season. So I give them kudos for that, but not a game I have any interest in getting involved with there. LA taking on New England. Don't laugh here when I say this, but I would be closer to taking 13 with the Rams here than laying 13 with New England. New England's not in a situation with any urgency. They're cruising to the AFC East title. They are banged up beyond belief on offense. Rob Gronkowski, of course, going to miss the rest of the season with that back surgery that he's undergoing. Martellus Bennett, the other tight end, is banged up, may or may not play here. You take those two tight ends out of this New England offense, Gronk and Bennett, and it really, there's a drop-off. We've not seen that same sharpness, crispness from Tom Brady and the Patriots offense without those two guys healthy and on the field at the same time, and it's taken its toll on this offense. With all due respect to Edelman, Amendola, Chris Hogan, the other receivers they've got, that two tight end set is where New England feasts on opposing defenses, and when it's not in place, it's not the same offense. That's all there is to it, and that's the issue right now with the Patriots. I think it's just stay healthy, don't incur any more injuries. Get out of here with a win. Now the question is, can you trust LA's defense? LA's defense, I know they didn't play well against the Saints at times last week, but a lot of those were turnovers by Goff, put them in bad positions. I think LA's still got a very good defensive front. New England's offensive line has let some pressure seep in on Tom Brady, particularly last week against the Jets. Remember, New England barely winning that game, not even coming close to covering the number. Now they got to win this game at home by, 2 touchdowns or more? I'm interested in the Rams. Don't know if I'll bet it, but I'm leaning that way. LA Rams plus the 13, plus 13.5 in that range. I think New England's in no urgency to win by margin here. It's get out of here with a win and move on. Miami-Baltimore, very interesting game this one. Situation where I think the Ravens, I liked them last week, but that was at home against a dead Cincinnati team. Miami just keeps finding ways to win on a weekly basis, and they've been tough to bet against in the underdog role. They've been pretty good on the road this season, the Miami Dolphins. I think I would have to take a look at the Miami side here in this game. I just don't know if Baltimore's offense is good enough in this kind of price range, especially if it's 3.5, and I see more 3.5s than 3 right now. Baltimore's offense just not explosive enough to trust them, but to win games by margin, so I'd lean Dolphins there. Buffalo and Oakland, we cashed a Play of the Week winner last week on the NFL video. Carolina, Oakland flying over the total, 35-32. And we're going to go with Play of the Week from this game, and we're going to make it official at the end of the video. But I'll hint right now, I don't trust Buffalo to stop Oakland's offense. Jacksonville moved the ball. Okay, they moved the ball at will against Buffalo at times last week on the road. That's Jacksonville's offense that did that. Now you're going to trust this Buffalo defense to stop Derek Carr and the Raiders' vaunted passing game? I'm not so sure. And let's not forget the Bills' secondary. It's been a little bit spotty this year. This has not been a lockdown secondary for Rex Ryan and his team by any stretch of the imagination. And you look at what they're dealing with now. Ronald Darby, one of their key contributors in that secondary, may not play in this game due to a concussion. So that could put even more stress on that Buffalo pass defense. But on the flip side, how good's Oakland's defense? It's still not a great defense by any stretch. They've shown glimpses of that. I think Tyrod Taylor is a mobile dual threat quarterback who can make plays on the run. Could, negate that Oakland pass rush with Khalil Mack and that solid defensive line a little bit, keep Oakland off balance. We'll get back to this game for Play of the Week at the end of the video, but I think you already know where I'm leaning. Tampa Bay, San Diego. This is a tough game because I really don't want to step in front of San Diego. They're much better than their 5-6 record indicates. Lost so many close games, had so many turnovers in those games. From a yardage perspective, they've been much better than their 5-6 record indicates. Phillip Rivers keeps getting the job done, but how do you go against Tampa now? A resurgent Tampa team finally living up to expectations that a lot of bettors, pundits had about them, that they'd be an improved team prior to the season. The back-to-back wins against Chicago and Seattle. I'm a little leery of the spot here. You're off such a huge win as underdogs at home against Seattle. Now you're flying all the way to the West Coast, taking on this San Diego team. But Jameis Winston and the offense has been a different unit since they got Doug Martin at running back on the field again. He's a difference maker. But again, at the same time, it's a questionable spot for Tampa. And I respect the way San Diego's playing, so it's a tough game for me to get involved with there. Washington, Arizona, next up. Arizona is a favorite, no thank you. Arizona is one of those teams like a Carolina, like a Cincinnati, Teams that have been perennial playoff teams all these years and they look like they're falling out of the playoff race, is that motivation and drive to keep playing hard right through to week 17? Is it still there? I'm not sure if it is for Arizona. They're finding ways to lose games. That was an ugly fourth quarter to let that game just totally get away from them last week in Atlanta, which I appreciated because I had a Falcons ticket in my pocket for that game, betting Atlanta against Arizona last week. But I'll tell you what, right now, Arizona's a favorite, no thank you. And Washington continues to get, I don't know if disrespected is the word, but it's a capable enough team. Kirk Cousins is a capable enough quarterback. This is a capable enough offense, which has a capable enough defense. And Washington, give him credit. Even against Dallas last week, didn't quit right till the end, got the point spread cover, lost by just 5 points to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And that is a key thing to keep in mind here. Extra prep time for Washington for this football game. They've been off since Thanksgiving. Arizona had to play Sunday and then travel as well back from Atlanta. So there's a big edge in prep time and getting ready for this game for the Redskins. Absolutely. Sign me up with Washington as the underdog here. I think they might be the better of these two teams, and Arizona to me is a bet against squad at this point in time. So Redskins plus the points is the way I'd look there. Giants and Pittsburgh, great showdown here. NFC versus AFC matchup. Giants to me, you wonder just how good they are. I mean, last week against Cleveland, that was a very, very, I don't know what it is, sloppy effort. I know they're 8-3, but not the greatest of performances last week against the Browns. They actually got outgained by Cleveland by 47 yards, even though they won 27-13. That's a concern for me. We'll see if they can play better. They're going to have to because Pittsburgh, they've won 2 straight, 24-9 at Cleveland, 28-7 at Indianapolis. And the last 2 times they've played at home, Pittsburgh lost to New England, lost to Dallas. No shame, 2 great teams, but I think there's going to be a sense of urgency here for the Steelers after 2 straight home losses. Let's finally get a home win. We need to play better at Heinz Field. And I think for that reason, you'll get a good effort from them. I was hoping to bet Pittsburgh in this game, but opened at 4.5. It's up to 6.5. It's getting a little too high for my liking right now, but would lean situationally here to the Steelers in this game. Carolina, Seattle. This is another game that I actually bet Seattle when this line opened. It opened at Seattle minus 6.5. It's now up to 7 with juice. Minus 7, minus 115, minus 120 in most spots. Where's the fight for Carolina? I think they're walking into a hornet's nest here. A brutal loss to Oakland last week. They battled back against the Raiders in that football game, only for the Raiders to snatch victory from them, and that pretty much puts Carolina out of it. I think Carolina realizes now playoffs aren't happening for us this year. We're 4-7. Even if we win out, it's going to be tough to get into the playoffs. And Seattle, off the loss on the road at Tampa Bay last week, they're chomping at the bit. You know you're going to get a motivated Seahawks team. And how about double motivation from the fact that this is playoff revenge? Seattle lost to Carolina in the NFC divisional playoff last year. This game will have Seattle's full attention. After losing to Tampa last week, losing to Carolina in the playoffs, I think Carolina is walking into a bad spot, bad situation here. It's going to be fired up as always. 12th man, the whole bit in Seattle. No way do I want Carolina, not even maybe here in this game. Even at minus 7 with some juice, I would still go with Seattle and lay the points. I think they're in a big bounce back situation here this week. Indy and the Jets. Indy and the Jets. Dun, dun, dun. Little Elton John reference there. Monday night, Indy and the Jets, Colts and Jets. You know what? I know the Jets stink. I know their season's over. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the whole bit. The defense has not been as good as we thought, especially in the secondary. But should Indy be favored on the road? Should Indy be favored on the road? And what if Andrew Luck doesn't play? This concussion nonsense still keeps on going on with him and the concussion protocol. And is he going to suit up? Is he not going to suit up? Whatever the case may be. Looks like the latest report is he is expected to be cleared in time for the Monday game. So that's probably what bettors are reacting to. But boy, Colts on the road. I mean, they've just been so bloody, inconsistent, and erratic this year. I'm not even sure I can trust them on the road, even if Andrew Luck plays in this football game. The Jets fought their asses off last week against New England. That felt like their Super Bowl, but they lost. They come up short again. Not sure that fight's going to be there for the Jets. but I don't know if I'm ready to rush to the betting window to endorse Indy as a road favorite. I know they need the game. They're in the division hunt, playoff hunt still. Jets are out of it, but tough. We'll have to think about this one some more. But anyway, here's one we don't have to think about some more. Play of the week for NFL Week 13. 7-5 on the season with the play of the week. We had Carolina, Oakland over the total with ease last week, an easy winner. We're going to use that same philosophy this week. We're going to Buffalo, Oakland, and we're going to go with the same type of bet. Buffalo, Oakland, over 48.5, rotation number 368. The Bills and the Raiders, over 48.5. I think both offenses have the better of it in this game, and we see points in bunches. Let's take the Bills and the Raiders over 48.5 for your NFL Week 13 play of the week. All right, that'll wrap up my look at NFL Week 13 from a betting perspective. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.